Despite the lengthy title runs and compelling Bloodline saga, WWE have backed themselves into a corner by booking an unstoppable monster heel as the face of their company. Here's how Roman Reigns' title reign broke the WWE. Number 10, the Hulk Hogan curse. Being fair to WWE, they tend to learn from their mistakes. Chair shots to the head are banned, pile driving someone apparently nets you a hefty fine, and Jinder Mahal has been kept well away from the title picture. But if there's one area where WWE are still stuck in the past, it's the belief that there needs to be one main guy who can't be bested by normal means. First, it was Bruno Sammartino, then Hulk Hogan, then the Attitude Era briefly did away with this ancient ideology before John Cena brought it back. Now it's Roman Reigns, and even before his tribal chief days, Roman was an indestructible force that could only be pinned after multiple F5s. In his modern incarnation, WWE are so scared to give Roman a loss because they're terrified it might ruin all of his prestige and do away with the increased ratings. It's understandable they'd want to keep Roman protected, but encasing him in an unbreakable cage is doing more harm than good. We already know Roman is an end-of-level boss. One loss to Cody Rhodes on the biggest stage of all would not have changed that. Number 9, WWE are scared of babyface champions. It's no secret that babyface champions tend to flounder in the WWE. Usually, they get a big win and stay dominant for a few weeks or maybe even months, but then one of two things tends to happen. Either they get fed to a heel for the sympathy angle, or fans get bored of their title reign and turn on them. WWE's stubbornness knows no bounds, and if there's one thing they hate, it's visible reactions from the crowd that oppose their creative decisions. That's why WWE tend to play it safe, and it's the reason that in the past 5 years, we've only seen 4 babyface champions across both top belts: Seth Rollins, Goldberg, Big E, and Drew McIntyre. And interestingly, their entire reigns combined lasted 410 days, a paltry figure in comparison to Roman's 970 days and counting. This is also amplified by Triple H's booking philosophy, who, if the list of historical NXT champions is anything to go by, also favors lengthy heel runs. We understand the chase is the most exciting part of the story, but at some point, there has to be a catch. Number 8, weekly TV hinders long reigns. Roman Reigns has been the longest WWE champion since 1988. There's a reason why it worked back then and it doesn't now. During the reigns of Bruno Sammartino and Hulk Hogan, WWE didn't have to fill at least 5 hours of weekly television. Back then, it was an hour of TV at most, allowing the champions to appear more infrequently and work a looser schedule. This kept the championship scene white hot. But now it's a hectic schedule. There's more demand from fans and more hours of TV to fill. WWE are constantly fighting to somehow slot Roman Reigns into the show, even though we know there's no chance he'll be losing the belt anytime soon. It makes for boring filler television that doesn't compel or excite anyone. It's like WWE are trying to fit Roman Reigns into a Bruno Sammartino-shaped hole. Number 7, shows without Roman Reigns are endurance tests. For a man nicknamed the head of the table, Reigns doesn't actually sit at the table all that often. When he does appear at Raw or SmackDown, it's usually in a talking segment that reiterates the same thing we saw the last time he was in the ring. He'll give Jey Uso the side eye. Solo Sikoa will get angry. Paul Heyman will do a little brown nosing. We've seen it all a million times. But WWE have put all their eggs in one basket with Reigns, so when he doesn't appear on Raw or SmackDown, it feels like we're watching a show with no main character, or eating a meal with no main course. Try as WWE might, it's impossible to make a mid-card title or any ongoing feud feel as prestigious as the main event scene, so we're left feeling a little empty once the show has ended. Number 6, bizarre booking decisions. The obsession to keep Roman Reigns on the top of the card has resulted in some mind-boggling booking decisions during his lengthy reign. Usually, going toe-to-toe with the champion elevates the challenger, providing it's not a total squash. But more often than not, Roman's matches have left his opponents looking like complete chumps. The first thing that might spring to mind is his match with Finn Balor at Extreme Rules 2022, which saw the Demon Finn, an unbeatable alter ego of a main event star, fall off the top rope after it magically broke for reasons that are still unexplained to this day. It wouldn't be so bad if Roman beat these challengers cleanly, because then at least it would show his dominance. However, the last match Roman won without interference was his June 2022 match with Matt Riddle. Not only are we coming up to 3 years of a championship reign, but a whole year of never winning without shenanigans. Number 5, few credible challengers. In fairness, this has been a problem with WWE for years, but Roman's mega reign has simply highlighted just how bad it is. Since Roman first captured the WWE Championship in August 2020, he's had 2 credible challengers in 3 years. Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes. Meanwhile, Reigns has run through the likes of Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, John Cena, Goldberg, Drew McIntyre, and many more superstars who haven't been built up anywhere near enough to make for believable contenders. WWE is putting all of their stock in Reigns and his drawing power, meanwhile neglecting to create a worthy hero to dethrone him. We could argue that the likes of Austin Theory or Bobby Lashley could step up, but we all know that Reigns' title run will only end at the hands of someone who's been equally as established as Reigns has been. Until now, Cody was the only one, and we all saw how that ended. Number 4, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We all know that WWE are masters of coasting. Hell, they've been filling hours of weekly television with forgettable content for years, and the fans are still tuning in by the millions. The problem is that WWE don't know how many fans they're missing out on by just sticking with what they know. Their biggest boom periods came when they branched out and weren't afraid to get a little wild. But for 15 years now, they've been sticking with the same repetitive format that appeals to kids and lifelong fans who will still watch because they remember just how good WWE used to be. This coasting has become more obvious during Roman Reigns' title run, and anyone who pays attention will know that Reigns isn't losing the belt until SummerSlam at the earliest, most likely next year's WrestleMania. Therefore, we've seen in the weeks since WrestleMania 39, viewership has dropped off by several 100,000 already. Number 3, the undercard suffers. Aside from Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes, WWE are flat out ignoring a deep main event level roster by ensuring that every other superstar stays one tier below Roman. We're missing out on tons of possible championship feuds because this entire generation has been defined by Roman and Brock, making everyone else look like geeks in comparison. Throwing the Universal Championship into the mix would give fans a lot more reasons to be invested in literally anything else other than the Bloodline story. A hypothetical rivalry between Drew McIntyre and Shinsuke Nakamura, for example, would be amazing on paper. But adding a prestigious championship in there would give it the shine it needs to make for must-see wrestling. Sadly, Roman's holding the belt hostage despite it doing nothing for his legacy. Number 2, retconning history. No one can deny that the Bloodline has been the most compelling storyline WWE has put out in years. However, a lot of people forget that we suffered 2 years of boring matches and storylines that followed the exact same template. The addition of Sami Zayn to the Bloodline story gave it the shot in the arm it needed. But then we all suddenly forgot that we'd endured 2 years of repetitive matches that saw Roman win through interference from the Usos. Of course, this era is barely acknowledged when recapping Roman's triumphant title run, instead focusing on the actual compelling part that did not begin until late 2022. Rewriting history is nothing new for the WWE, but the Tribal Chief's title run has proved one thing that we thought had been left behind in the Vince McMahon era. WWE only care about beginnings and ends. The middle bits are just filler. And number 1, they had to make a new championship. On the April 24th, 2023 edition of Raw, Triple H basically announced to the world that Roman Reigns had beaten everyone possible, so they had to make a new championship to go on the opposite brand that Roman is drafted to. Roman will stay as the Universal Champion, while the winner of an upcoming tournament will crown the first ever WWE World Heavyweight Champion. While the belt looks great and it's got a cool name, it might as well be called the Roman Reigns Opponent's Memorial Title, because it's basically a consolation prize rather than a symbol of achievement. The championship belt of each brand is supposed to feel equal, but the World Heavyweight title will already feel B tier because nobody will have pinned the actual champion to have won it. That concludes our video of how Roman Reigns' title reign has broken the WWE. Has Roman's endless run affected your opinion of the product? Let us know in the comments below.